They already know your next move. You told them, without realizing it. Every answer you gave was data they collected. And the extraction began before you noticed the pattern. You answer quickly whenever silence threatens social comfort. Repeated questioning drains your resistance before awareness develops. Certain questions force disclosures before your mind detects extraction. The first trap appeared harmless because your defenses activated afterward. Manipulators collect answers before revealing their intentions toward you. Last Friday, somebody questioned your loyalty during a harmless conversation. You explained yourself immediately because silence felt socially dangerous. Another question followed your explanation without hesitation or discomfort. Then another question exposed deeper emotional pressure beneath your controlled tone. Silence threatens manipulators more than confrontation ever could. You have been over-explaining your emotions your entire life. Calling it honesty, Machiavelli understood concealed reasoning protects power from strategic extraction. Repeated questioning weakens resistance before awareness recognizes exhaustion developing. Questions expose patterns before you detect the surrender yourself. Your manager recently questioned your commitment after missing one late meeting. You revealed insecurities nobody requested during that defensive explanation. Most people defend themselves emotionally and surrender invisible leverage afterward. You are about to understand conversational control differently. Very few people recognize extraction before irreversible exposure begins. Controlled silence preserves authority during pressured conversations permanently. The second trap begins after your first defensive explanation. Your exhaustion started long before the dangerous question arrived. Most people defend themselves endlessly and surrender psychological positioning. You are about to understand controlled silence differently. Repeated questioning destroys judgment before visible emotional collapse begins. Your relationship arguments rarely ended after your first emotional explanation. Every answer demanded another calculation protecting your image from suspicion. Your brain started prioritizing relief instead of strategic self-protection. Exhaustion changes decisions before you notice rational judgment collapsing. You explained harmless details repeatedly because tension felt unbearable. Another explanation temporarily reduced pressure before another accusation appeared. Social groups use repetitive questioning to expose vulnerabilities gradually. Workplaces disguise interrogation through performance concerns and collaborative language. You have been defending harmless behavior your entire life, calling it transparency. Behavioral research confirmed repeated questioning depletes self-regulation during stress. Mental fatigue weakens resistance before conscious awareness detects compromised judgment. Manipulators continue questioning after truth already became irrelevant. Information stopped mattering once your emotional compliance became visible. Explanations created openings because reactions revealed insecurities beneath your words. Your girlfriend recently questioned your delayed response during dinner. You explained traffic, notifications, meetings, and intentions before finishing your meal. Her questions continued, because exhaustion replaced your resistance gradually. Most people defend themselves emotionally and lose leverage immediately. You are about to understand strategic refusal differently. Manipulators prolong conversations because fatigue transforms disclosure into relief. Psychological territory disappears whenever emotional pressure controls your responses. Your answers mattered less than your emotional depletion levels. They were measuring your resistance, not searching for information. Most people rush explanations and expose emotional dependence instantly. You are about to understand strategic ambiguity completely. Silence unsettles manipulators, because uncertainty destroys their positioning instantly. Your conditioning demands immediate explanations whenever social tension appears. Politeness trained your instincts against strategic restraint during pressure. Immediate answers reveal fear before words reveal information. Machiavelli protected influence through concealed reasoning and controlled visibility. Power disappears whenever intentions become emotionally accessible to pressure. Manipulators depend upon predictable reactions during uncomfortable moments. Then everything suddenly changes. Unanswered questions force manipulators into uncertainty and improvisation. Silence interrupts extraction before emotional fatigue weakens awareness internally. You have been explaining yourself immediately your entire life, calling it respect. Social pressure weaponizes politeness against strategic thinking during conflict. Tension feels unbearable because silence removes predictable emotional reassurance. Silence changes room dynamics faster than emotional explanations ever could. Manipulators lose rhythm once emotional access becomes strategically restricted. Your coworker questioned your future plans during a crowded office lunch. You paused calmly instead of offering reassurance through explanations. The table became uncomfortable because uncertainty redirected pressure toward everyone. Most people answer quickly and surrender psychological control afterward. You are about to understand conversational uncertainty differently. Strategists recognize silence as controlled territory, never emotional weakness. Ambiguity destabilizes interrogators without creating visible confrontation permanently. The strongest response sounds cooperative while revealing absolutely nothing. Certain responses redirect pressure without appearing emotionally defensive afterward. Most people reveal intentions freely and become strategically transparent. You are about to understand conversational reversal methods. Predictability destroys psychological protection faster than emotional weakness could. Every direct answer leaves behavioral patterns available for future manipulation. Casual conversations quietly collect information, shaping future leverage against you. Predictable answers create permanent leverage against your future decisions. Powerful people rarely answer directly because certainty creates exploitable maps. Others study your reactions continuously during ordinary social interactions. Future decisions become predictable after enough revealing explanations accumulate. You have been revealing future intentions your entire life, calling it authenticity. Machiavelli concealed intentions because predictable rulers became strategically vulnerable. Ambiguity protects authority by forcing interpretation instead of extraction. Manipulators fear uncertainty more than hostility or confrontation. Uncertainty blocks emotional access before leverage develops through repetition. Your friend casually asked about your upcoming career plans during drinks. You described timelines, expectations, financial concerns, and pressures freely. Weeks later, those details return strategically during an unrelated disagreement. Most people explain future intentions freely and become psychologically readable. You are about to understand controlled uncertainty differently. Strategists never surrender predictable emotional patterns during ordinary conversations. Ambiguity transforms conversations into uncertain territory manipulators cannot navigate. People become uncomfortable whenever certainty disappears from charged interactions. Silence forces interpretation while direct answers eliminate psychological mystery. Manipulators depend upon predictable emotional access more than information itself. Your restrained responses create tension because expectations stop functioning. Psychological leverage weakens whenever intentions remain partially concealed permanently. The next shift forces interrogators into defensive positioning themselves. One controlled response can reverse conversational pressure without aggression. Most people seek approval and expose themselves during uncomfortable conversations. You are about to understand perceived psychological authority. Approval seeking creates invisible obedience before manipulation becomes visible. Interrogators depend upon your discomfort with unresolved social tension. Pressure controls you whenever emotional clarity becomes necessary for relief. Emotional compliance disguises itself as honesty and openness constantly. Repeated questioning weakens self-protective decisions through fatigue and pressure. Your instincts prioritize acceptance instead of strategic containment during conflict. Manipulators recognize this conditioning before conversations develop into confrontations. You have been reducing tension automatically your entire life. Calling it maturity. Strategic pauses redirect conversational momentum without creating defensiveness externally. Minimal disclosure blocks emotional access while preserving calm positioning. Calm detachment destroys manipulative momentum without visible aggression. Detached responses create uncertainty because emotional reactions become inaccessible. Interrogators lose control whenever pressure stops producing predictable disclosures. Your supervisor questioned your loyalty during a private performance review. You answered calmly without defending intentions or explaining motivations. The conversation slowed because emotional leverage stopped functioning against you. Silence forced your supervisor into uncomfortable uncertainty during that meeting. Most people seek emotional approval and expose themselves automatically. You are about to understand perceived authority differently. Strategists redirect pressure subtly while others defend emotional legitimacy. Manipulative patterns become obvious once emotional compliance disappears entirely. Detached restraint appears dangerous because intentions remain psychologically inaccessible. Interrogators become defensive whenever emotional access disappears during questioning. Controlled ambiguity transforms pressure into uncertainty surrounding the interrogator. The final shift changes how people perceive your entire presence. They stop probing once uncertainty replaces emotional access completely. Most people explain themselves constantly and lose invisible leverage permanently. You no longer answer automatically when control becomes the objective. Unreadable people control conversations because intentions remain inaccessible afterward. The hidden enemy still exists, but reliable emotional access disappeared. Conversations become psychological territory whenever manipulation hides beneath language. Unreadable people rarely become psychological targets repeatedly. Most people reveal themselves compulsively, then wonder why respect disappears. Emotional transparency creates predictable openings. Others quietly exploit over time. Silence, ambiguity, and restraint protect authority during pressured interactions. You have been revealing emotional access your entire life, calling it connection. Machiavelli concealed reasoning because exposure invited manipulation and prediction. Behavioral research confirmed pressure weakens judgment during exhausting conversations. Controlled restraint appears dangerous because intentions remain inaccessible. Detached composure creates uncertainty powerful enough to discourage further probing. Your friend praised your discipline before requesting personal relationship details. You acknowledged the compliment calmly without revealing emotional vulnerabilities. The conversation shifted because predictable access disappeared from that interaction. Most people reveal themselves compulsively and lose psychological positioning. You are about to understand emotional invisibility differently. Strategists recognize restraint as protection, never insecurity or weakness. True authority appears emotionally detached because intentions remain concealed. Unreadable people force interpretation while reactive people invite exploitation. Psychological dominance begins once emotional access becomes strategically restricted. Conversations change completely once reactions stop providing emotional leverage. The next pattern hides inside praise rather than interrogation. Flattery extracts information faster than confrontation ever successfully could. The ones who cannot be questioned have already stopped answering. Subscribe. The next video reveals the exact moment they switch from questioning you to fearing you.